breaking news today.
Please subscribe and then check notification box to get all breaking news alerts.
Reporter Peter Alexander blames Trump for school shooting. Sarah shuts him up for good. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders held Wednesday's media briefing in the wake of a horrific shooting which unfolded on Tuesday, leaving 2 dead and 17 injured at a Kentucky high school. When NBC reporter Peter Alexander had the audacity to blame President Donald Trump for the violence, Sanders shut him up for good with her response. The final question that White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders took on Wednesday dealt with school shootings in the United States. NBC News' Peter Alexander asked, "What has the president done since October to prevent any of the shootings from taking place?" "The president believes that all Americans deserve to be safe in their schools and in their communities," replied Sanders, adding that the administration has tried to crack down on crime throughout the country. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders blasted a reporter Wednesday, taking issue with his seeming accusation that President Trump is complicit in recent school shootings. NBC News correspondent Peter Alexander asked Sanders what the Trump administration is doing to prevent school shootings. Alexander argued that since the Las Vegas massacre in October, there have been several school shootings, including one in Benton, Tuesday. Source: Fox News Insider. Wednesday's conversation between Sanders and Alexander ultimately got heated when the reporter asked, "What is the president specifically doing to prevent shootings? Will the president come forward before the nation and tell people how he feels and use the bully pulpit?" pressed Alexander. According to the Daily Caller, Sanders raised her voice in disbelief, asking if the reporter was implying that Trump was complicit in the school shooting. "The fact that you're basically accusing the president of being complicit in a school shooting is outrageous," said Sanders. "The president has been very clear in instructing the top law enforcement agency to crack down on crime to prevent these types of things," she added before promptly exiting the podium and walking out of the room. Of course, what Alexander was trying to get Sanders to say was that the Kentucky school shooting demonstrates a need for more stringent gun control measures, but she did no such thing. The media always reacts to a shooting by calling for increased gun control, at least they're predictable, but the Trump administration has not made the same mistake. Just as President Trump is in no way complicit in Tuesday's school shooting, an utterly absurd accusation, to be sure, gun control does not prevent violence. The only thing it accomplishes is to take firearms out of the hands of law-abiding citizens who might otherwise be able to thwart a gun-related crime. Maniacs will find a way to commit their crimes whether it is against the law or not. Does the fact that it is illegal to smoke crack cocaine stop druggies from getting their fix? Certainly not. The same principle applies to the violent criminal who seeks a gun. If he wants to do harm, he's going to find a way to do so by any means necessary. If he is denied a firearm at a gun shop, he will simply find someone willing to sell him one on the street. If that fails, he'll just rent a moving van and plow through unsuspecting pedestrians. If we really want to take positive steps to prevent school shootings like the one which unfolded in Kentucky this week, we ought to arm school officials. Declaring schools as gun-free zones does nothing but to make them sitting ducks for violent criminals looking for an easy target. However, if the public knew that there were armed and capable administrators ready to return fire at schools across the country, it would be a completely different story. Perhaps, if this had been the case, the situation in Kentucky might have ended with one person dead, the shooter, instead of 2 innocent lives lost and even more victims seriously injured.